Either way, we're into our ninth round.
I didn't know you were playing. Ah, now I get it. So good, he mouthed the word to me. But look at this. Tabson. Oh, why do we see this performance of him with the rifles? Apparently he's a god with a knife. Who'd have thunk it?
Oh, word thunk just doesn't sit well with me at all. Either way, it is going to be the choice of big. They will pick the T side, so looking to try and set the pace early in this game. As I was saying before you started giggling, Ukraine, I think every single person on this team in the past has enjoyed this map. I think it's a very sort of CIS-heavy map. Old iterations of Na'Vi were always very, very good at this. But also, I used to really enjoy the sort of flip side with... Oh, no, I think it was Hellraisers with Bondik, or flip side, I suppose, where he used to be very, very good at this map. So I think this will sit quite well with Ukraine getting this into the map pool. And I think there is a genuine chance if they play like they did in the last map that they just take this through in two. So I'm more looking for a change from big, a step up from the German side. But I do think if there is a map to do it for them, it will be this one. Utility going to be thrown in already. Godby leading the charge, but Simple's had enough. He doesn't care about your utility. He'll start things off with a bang. Bondik holding off any sort of rotations through that drop-down spot. Simple still just trying to tap away, but he now has lots of support. Finds himself a second, and Godby, the man who was supposed to be the one with the utility, the setup man for this round, now has to get all of the frags, and it is not happening.
I mean, you know what they say.
Go big or go home?
Yeah, there you go, that's the one. That's exactly the saying I was thinking
thought
of. So. Team Ukraine getting up 1-0 early on here, as they're looking good. Big. Going to be forced by now what they can. Going to have pistols across the board, some utility as well to try and work with. Deagle up for Keeve is the only man with it. Going to go pushing it towards middle early on. Zeus spots it. Whoop. Danger of being taken down there. Has managed to survive. Simple going to rotate in towards Danger to try and help on out. Has himself the MP7. Not as good as Mark Love. He's got the MP9.
Of course. Tabson trying to fake out the sounds. We are going to see a push coming in from long. Waiting on the other side will be Simple. Almost gets caught up, but he's got a smoke to help him out a little bit. Looking to try and do some damage, but won't find anything just yet. Of course, in the previous map, we did see some excellent anti-eco rounds coming out from Team Ukraine, making a lot of money early in the halves. I think ultimately that was really what saved them and pretty much gave them the dominant scoreline we saw, as Big were always having those monetary problems. With the pistol win, they've set themselves up nicely to do the same. Markov actually holding Long B with an MP9 may not be ideal, especially with the amount of players that are looking to gather up, and he is actually the only person on this side of the map. It's been a bit of a misread. Bondik will quickly back into the site. Zeus has been a little bit left out to dry by Edward, and Edward doesn't realize there's someone in from behind. That will be Tabson now with a rifle. Legia, Nex have combined to pick up a couple of their own, and maybe Cobble is not going to be the anti-eco land for Ukraine, as they now have Bondik, the only man left. He's on the correct site. Unfortunately, he's completely surrounded, and he will go down to Godby. An excellent force spy from the German side, and a bit of a misread from Ukraine.
Yeah, that's now netted big, an equalizing round. They steal that force spy away from Team Ukraine. They're going to force spy up now themselves. Going to try and take one straight back. Bondik. He's got himself the UMP. Markelov not only has a fantastic smile, but also a deagle in this round. I want to see what he can get done with that. Everyone's very smiley in these pictures. Look at Tabson.
I want to know what the guy behind the camera is doing. Probably not that. Bondik just running and taking
That'll take the smile off your face very, very quick. Tabson's gone down.
Take your face off your face.
And Simple, the one man, well, actually, along with Edward, who is not smiling in this picture. He looks deadly serious. Now he just looks dead. He's gone down. Zeus always has a nice little cheeky smile. He's going to be holding off this sight up close. Let's see if that cheeky grin will be earned as he looks to try and hold back Big from the push. And he's done a good job as they start this rotation away. They leave Gobby here. And he's going to be looking to try and prevent these guys from rotating. Edward will be the one man who begins a rotation background in towards B. That information going to come in just a little bit too late as the wall of smoke does rain into that site. I say wall of smoke, it's just one smoke. Markolov's fallen, man advantage up for Big. They're going to be able to get that bomb down. At this point, Team Ukraine will just look to save.
Yeah, not really much point trying to run back in to the site. AK will be retrieved as well for Big, so ending the round with what will likely be 3 rifles and the SMG. And because they've broken back early, they now have the same chance that we saw Ukraine get on the previous map to just build up a nice amount of bank early on and not allow this CT side to really have too much in terms of their defense. So it looks like, at least for Big, this is going to be a decent start over on that T side, get those rounds run together, and basically looking to do what was done to them on Overpass with the sort of Team Ukraine winning out that first half. T side playing fairly careful now, just going to group up to make sure they don't lose any of this weaponry, knowing that Ukraine don't have much else on the other side of things. And at least the weaponry will be kept. Bondik can drop over an extra pistol. And we did actually see Ukraine manage to win one of these rounds on Overpass. However, already Big, I think, look a little bit more methodical in the way they've been playing. And they're also going to go into this one very safe indeed with 4 rifles and just 1 SMG.
Yeah, this is a shot for Ukraine, who actually still managed to do damage. Still on benefit of saving on the players that they did. Potential for them to actually pick this round up and start to steal rounds away. Big, as a result, have to be careful here. Edward. Just going to be taking a little peekaboo over the top of the boxes, doesn't see anything. While the rest of Big begin this transition in through long, Legia does suspect. Well, 4 players stacked inside the B-bomb site for Team Ukraine. It's the right choice to make. They're going to start to rotate Zeus away, but they still keep 3 here. This is the first time we've really seen Big try and steal this site away from Team Ukraine, while they have had a formidable force inside of it. Next is the man to try and entry into this site. Edward will be waiting in the cubby. That Molotov's missed, and actually, as a result, next going to go down. Bondik's done damage. Edward just taps away, takes himself a second leg here. Will be able to trade. Now it's a tall order for the man, though, as he finds himself trapped inside of this site. 1v3 effectively until Kyiv arrives on the scene. Legia is going to lose his teammate. Oh, okay, that was fancy, but will be shut down by Simple. Legia, I love it when he has moments like that. But Team Ukraine, they're better to steal one straight back, Tom.
This happened again. This is almost an identical scenario. They saved some weapons early on. I think, yeah, it was on the CT side as well of Overpass, and they just managed to win a round out of nothing, boost their economy tenfold, and save a load of weaponry that never should have been saved. It's the second time Big have made this mistake, and well, now it means that the buy coming back at them is so much more deadly. They get to pick up, as said, some weaponry of their own, but also the amount of money that they get gifted by, well, the lovely guys at Valve, I guess, for winning the round, is so much more. Decent amount of utility. Zeus has to be careful here. Gets tagged down to just 5 HP. So low already in this aggressive spot. Simple is there to back him up over towards that A spot, but if he gets tagged even slightly, which he will, that is going to be the man advantage over to Big. As said, looking to break back after the mistake in the previous round. They have started it off well. However, the man on the other side of this smoke, probably the man they least want to see in the server at the moment. Simple had an excellent first map. He's actually going to be boosted up as well. We'll play that watchtower role. But, as ever, Big not dedicated to the site just yet. may look to try and probe over towards B, just in case there has been a stack. And Team Ukraine have been willing to go for these sort of riskier plays and gamble their players over to one of the sites. This time they have actually just gone for a sort of standard 2-2 split, with the nades being thrown in over towards that B side. There may be a temptation to rotate off, but there's still going to be multiple players here when the push comes in.
Yeah, and as long as he can get up, never mind. Simple's gone down straight away. Bondic actually able to go ahead and drop both players over and nearly Legia through the smoke. No, no, it's not looking good for Bondic. What's going on? Somehow he's making it work. Legia does manage to get the trade, but it's a massive play from Bondic. There is no time left. He has done it. He locks in the round for Team Ukraine. That was utter confusion over towards long. Well played from Bondic to stay alive, but I don't think anyone knew what was going on there, Tom.
Like the
I didn't, and I was watching, and I have X-ray. I can see everything.
The first 2 kills are sick, and he almost gets the third one onto Nex as well through the smoke. But then after that, it just was utterly ridiculous. I don't know where the flashbang came from. Whoever threw it saved his life.
He threw that.
Because I don't know if it was the T's, I don't know if a CT threw it, but whatever happened, it did save Bondic because he didn't have any bullets left in his rifle. He then gets an extra kill, and the T's completely run out of time. So whoever threw that has just saved the round. And Simple now, he's got his AWP, and we've seen how terrifying that's been throughout the series so far. The push will come in onto the B site. Markelov's here to defend it. The flashbang is perfect, and eventually he will hit himself the shot. 2 players left with CZs. One coming in from behind. Tabson already goes down next. The only man with a rifle. He is going to be able to find one, but his teammates are all gone. Nex has the clutch.
That's going to be a 1v4 needed from the man. Here's Edward. Okay, that's fancy. Now he's got 1. Still has 3 left to find. Zeus in with the trade. Does manage to keep the round in favor of Team Ukraine. And now, finally, Big have to go onto an eco. Pause call on in. I think it was a
split-second tech.
Yeah. So I was just looking at, we were just kind of reviewing the faces of these players in these pictures. I would love to see Tabson cosplay as Mario, and Nex to cosplay as for Flaren. I think that second one could really. Do you see a little bit of that in there?
Yeah, I can see what you're getting at.
I think it's like the hair is very like.
I feel like Nex might be a little bit happier with his comparison.
Well, no.
Rather than Tabs being compared to a Italian plumber.
It's more just that one picture, right, than anything else, because like you see him normally, and it's great.
Yeah, and Nex definitely got the better end of the deal there. Not in this round, at least. They don't have too much.
I think it's because he has. I think it's because he has a shadow above his lip that looks like a mustache. Tom,
please stop. Stop talking about it. Oh God.
But right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, copy. There's a smoke there, my friend. Now Tabson. He's over here towards long, but it's not Turtles who's looking to kill. Instead, it is Edward who holds close with the MP9. They're going to go rushing into it, and Keeve actually is able to find the frags. Now they keep pushing on him. Markelov stands here with the support from Simple. Get one leg. Yep. It does damage to Bondic, and actually Keeve. Okay. Luckily enough, Bondic's there to trade back, or else things could have very quickly got out of control. And around the big had not much into turns. Pretty damn profitable.
Yeah, that's one of the best anti-ecos we've seen from Big all series, doing a huge amount of damage, really hurting that CT economy. And now if they do manage to win this round, they are going to be resetting Ukraine back to, well, maybe an SMG or 2, but mostly pistols. So, yeah, a very important, impactful round from them. Zeus, I think, is going to be setting up that deep smoke over towards the back of Platt, just to allow any further aggression from Edward, who has been doing that so far. Of course, it lands perfectly. Wouldn't expect anything less from Zeus, the tactician. We are... see some damage done through the smoke. Next definitely takes the brunt of it. Now the smoke is going to fall even deeper. Tabson in the corner, going to be left. The Molotov was actually burning him for the first few seconds, and as he tries to retreat, Markelov straight through the smoke, takes his head off. So much damage already been done. And most of it just off the back of clever grenades.
Yeah, right now, Big, they are a man down. They've only got one Molotov left up on Legia. So that's less than ideal. Bondik will lie in wait beneath the window.
Will he know that someone's dropped? That's the big thing, because Gobby actually tries to cover that with the shot.
Oh, now
off.
he does.
He hears the second player at least.
Gobby just boom, straight down into drop. Markelov spotted out, has that crossfire with Edward, and that works brilliantly. Bomb's been dropped over at long, and now Gobby and Kiev, they try to escape. Zeus is up and in the window, and there we go. Tears them limb from limb. Team Ukraine 6-2. The pause called in from Big, and it's a tactical.
Yeah, I think it's necessary. 5 rounds in a row from Team Ukraine. And they're looking to get into a real rhythm here. They haven't needed the sort of explosive plays from Simple just yet. It's actually been more Bondik. He was someone I mentioned at the beginning. I always used to enjoy watching him play this map, and then I'm pretty sure when he was sort of in the latter stage of Hellraiser, they didn't really play too much Cobble, but whenever they did, he was the man you sort of look to in that team to really step up. He's 11-3 at the moment. I'm also liking the sort of just that round from Edward and Markelov, where Markelov's whole position there is just, look at me, guys. Look at me. Edward then just peeks out and finds the kill. It's just, that's the sort of synergy I like to see. And that's a lot of the time something you won't expect from a mixed team. The fact that these guys have just come in and gone, okay, we've got our CT side so strong this early, that's worrying for Big, because they've got themselves the 6th round. It's normally the T side, or at least if you look at the very old sort of Na'Vi team, when it was like Guardian had to get them maybe 4 or 5 rounds and they could win out on the T side. The T side is where they were normally very strong. So yeah, Big, they've got to step up, and they're going to try and do it with the pistols in this round. Edward with the aggression will spot the majority of the team. There's still 4 more to find.
Yeah, these nades have already done so much damage, though, and the rotation has come in from Team Ukraine. Everyone's here. Markelov might not even let them reach the site. Death trickles down from Fountain. Legia's left 1v3. Lots of damage done to the 3 remaining players, but no frags found. Team Ukraine going to go 7-2. 5 rounds their advantage here on the CT side. That's scary. It's getting to the point now where it feels like almost Team Ukraine are even performing better than actual Na'Vi.
Well, that's always the things that people seem to be almost a little bit worried about when you sort of have these mixed teams come to point. It's just like, so if they do really well, do we just keep this team? Like, I think that's what, like, I wonder if Scream sat there just like, okay, I would love France to do well, but don't do too well, Keo, because I don't want to lose my spot. And I'm pretty sure that's happened before to Scream as well, where they sort of been testing players and then Screams just ended up, well, I remember a point where he ended up alone on Epsilon. That was for very different circumstances, but at the same time, I feel like Scream always gets the bad luck. He's always the one left out. I feel bad for Scream. Then again, he's been playing very well for Belgium so far, so yeah, I don't think they've got any reason to get rid of him.
Very thought-provoking piece, but I think we don't have time for thought. It's simple as he gets shut down. Now through mid, Legia goes charging on up, but they haven't accounted for Zeus, who's able to go ahead and find that first. Now Edward over here at long, still boosted up into the turret. Has to act like a turret if they come pushing through, but the bomb's going to be getting its rotation away, and that's because you got Tabson. He's over here in drop down. Kind of start to creep on in. Tries to time this perfectly with the rest of the gang. It's Markelov who has been on point along with Bondik. Try and defend this B bomb site, but already they've lost Markelov. Now Bondik, he's been key to the CT side defense. Going to start to sneak his way in. Oh, doesn't manage to be picked up by Kiev just yet, but then will fall to Tabson. And now it's Zeus. Unnecessarily renowned for his AWPing. Going to look to try and save.
Ooh. 7-3. Decent round from Big as well. They'll keep 4 players standing unless course, Zeus is able to take somebody down with this AWP. Gobby is going to be pushing in, and he will remove the AWP as well. Although, yeah, I was thinking that might be a bit of an odd decision to pick that up. CT side are still going to be able to buy into this one. And that is a couple of times now where I'm pretty sure, in fact, maybe every single round that Ukraine have lost has actually been them gambling over towards that A site a little bit too heavily. I think we definitely saw that in the early couple of rounds that they lost, where, again, it was sort of 3 players and then the 1 player on B, and that was where Big did actually manage to just get the correct read. The problem is with these sort of gamble plays that we're seeing from Ukraine, if Big get it wrong, which, well, I'm guessing by the majority they have, we see them sort of push into 4-man stacks like in the last round.
Yeah, right now as well, Gobby has definitely lived up to the name of his alter ego, Gobi. As that seems to be their solution in a lot of these rounds. Tapson's already been eliminated next. You hate to see that. Tagged down very low. Edward, the smoke warrior.
That's happened a lot as well. It always seems to be Nex. If anybody's getting tagged through a wall or just shot down to low HP through smokes, it's always Nex. Here we go. Yeah, A-side push.
Try the hand up here towards A. Up ramp they go. Simple. Inside of the site has Zeus there to assist. And they're going to start to smite down Big in this attempted site take. Already the rotations have come in. Gobby and Keeve all that remain. And Gobby going to be pushed up. Keeve's actually able to find one. Gobby in with another. Keeve's pulling this back. And now he's in a 1 versus 2. Has time to play with. Going to be allowed to get himself the bomb. 40 seconds and counting. Time ticking away from him here. He's been able to find himself too. It's Edward out in mid. Oh! Going to be allowed to duck down. Keeve, how are you still alive? The bomb plot animation actually saves him there. Now it's a 1v2. Make that a 1v1. Markolov's gone down and Keeve, he's going to do it. That is utterly fantastic from Keeve. That's illegal. Keeve can't do that here.
He's reset their economy as well. So that round is so crucial for Big. It is literally do or die for their money once again. And Keeve just comes up absolutely huge. I think we have 4 kills in that round.
Keeve is love, Keeve is life. He's amazing.
Ooh, Edwards. Okay. We've got a Nova. I'm a big fan. Let's see where he's going to be playing. Simple Star's enough money for an AWP. We're yet to see him have one of those big rounds yet in this game. It seems like this is going to be the one where he attempts it. The problem is the majority of players are heading over towards this A site at the moment. Zeus is going to be waiting, just tries to hold them off with a pop flash. Does do good work. Gobby left completely blind. However, he is now looking to be overwhelmed. The second flashbang. Sorry, I think it was a decoy available. The rotation has come in from 2 of these players already. Edward will be able to get one with the USP, and Zeus now looking to try and run him from behind, but Legia has the position covered. However, now the full rotation, once again, this sort of stack situation comes in, and I think it's been realized the T's are having none of it. That Molotov is perfect. Burns down Markolov and almost takes a second, and now Big will go back to B once again. Very good read from the T side, and the CTs will have nobody there once the hit comes in.
Yeah, you can see Simple, not Simple, sorry, Bondic actually starting to rotate back around. He's only got a CZ, and where to find anything. You imagine the AWP on Simple, and the Nova for Edward just going to go ahead and save along with Bondic. Take that in the next round. It will be a 5th for Big, and they're looking a little bit re-energized now. All it took was Keeve to land an impossible 1v4. I'm still buzzed from it. Tabs is just going to leave. He knows that now Keeve is the big dog on this team. He's like, you know what, Keeve, fair play. I'm gone. Best of luck with the team.
I'll get the coaching. It's going to be 4 players surviving for this T side. CTs won't be able to invest too much into this one, but they will still have Simple on the AWP. I mean, it is still possible. A weapon also for Edward, and Bondic either going to retrieve that trusty Nova. And we are going to have a technical pause. So clearly that wasn't just him leaving, unless they're calling it that, and they have to just go get him back. Like, no, please, Tabson, we need you. But 5-7, Big starting a resurgence. They have got 3 rounds in a row after the previous 5-1 from Ukraine. And again, it has been a couple of rounds where Ukraine have sort of found some initial damage, gambled on one of the sites, and unfortunately got it wrong. In the last round, I think it's much more understandable, though, because they did have quite a weak buy coming into it. And pistols and, of course, a Nova. So now, well, the one thing is they do get a little bit of a breather.
There it is, tabseN's back in. Oh, ping very high. That's going to be dropping down. I was going to say 100 ping on LAN. How the hell have they managed that?
He's connected on his phone. He's using the Wi-Fi. There we go. We are going to be going back into the round. Of course, considering what's invested here for Ukraine, it is going to come down to just trying to do some damage once again. Loss bonus will be up to 2,900 in the next, so they should be able to afford pretty much anything they desire anyway. And Big don't have a huge amount of money saved up, so they're going to want to try and keep this as clean as possible, although that is a lot easier said than done, because this isn't your conventional sort of pistol force buy that just has a little bit of money invested. They've still got an AWP, they still have an AK-47, and a little bit of utility. That's where they're lacking quite a bit. There's even a kit on Simple as well, so if it does come down to the last few seconds, there is still a chance for Ukraine. But at the same time, Big, if they can continue this streak, they could still win themselves the half.
Oh, that flash is perfect. Simple. Through the smoke, going to get rid of Nex. And it is always Nex.
It's always Nex.
He's eating magnets for breakfast, apparently. The bullets just can't seem to leave him. And now Simple's rotating in towards drop down. tabseN does reside up there. Going to flash himself in. bondik finds it though with the CZ. And slipping on by, they try to get past the Nova, which they will. Like, yeah, you're going to drop him. But right now, Simple, it's destruction in with the AWP. Wants to go ahead and shut down Legia. It falls to God B 1 versus 3. Now, we've seen Kyiv and a 1v4 already. God B, no such luck as he gets annihilated there on the flank from Edward.
Yeah, bondik has been on fire throughout this game. 13 and 5, 2 kills with the CZ in that one. They are going to have another pause called. I imagine this one may be of more of a tactical nature. Yeah. Big. Obviously losing around again. It's happened a couple of times now, and it has been the burden of Big's life, is that versus these pistols, versus these 4 spies available from Ukraine, they have actually thrown away a few rounds now. That's 2 rounds that they should have won. One of them very early in the game. I think it was round number 4, where they lose to SMGs. We saw that on Overpass as well, or an SMG and a load of pistols. We see it here, where bondik's able to get 2 kills with the CZ, alongside that AWP, of course. But if all of these rounds are rounds that Big should be winning, realistically, at this point, they should be in the lead. The fact is, okay, you have to give props to Ukraine to be able to do that in the first place, but this is Big's map. This is the map they're supposed to be taking home. They shouldn't be throwing away those sort of rounds. And now, well, Ukraine, they have won themselves that CT half. As said, in the past, it was always the CIS teams that were stronger on that T side by quite a significant margin. Of course, Cobblestone has changed since then. We've got some stairs. But the question is, will Big be able to step up on their CT side as well as these last couple of rounds?
Markelov and Edward going to start some aggression over there towards Zong. Now they fall back. It's going to be Simple instead, along with Zeus, to try and take aggression here at long A. For Big, it's going to be a slow start to this round. Don't want to risk throwing away these rifles, as they have stuck everything into this round. It wouldn't be the case. I wouldn't be surprised though if it's the case, but they let this clock run down, try to bait out the utility, but then they've already lost the first man. If they can't find anything to recover this, it sounds crazy. But if things get much worse and time goes much lower, we'll like to see a save called in eventually. We're going to start to dedicate out towards drop. They want to try and trade. There we go, bondik. I'm going to get one now. They keep receiving the game some ground. Got beat. Keeping it competitive for Kyiv and Nex. There's still time left for them to go for this. Now they start to push on in. Simple holds from Rock. You have Markelov inside of the site. Nex, he's the point man. He has to try and gain some ground for Kyiv. Be afforded this bomb plant. Keeves incredibly quick. That's Markelov eliminated, and now Simple has to hold the cross. If he drops the bomb here, then that's it. Zeus is able to find it. Round will go the way of Team Ukraine. It's a 9-5 scoreline.
Yeah, a decent round coming out from Zeus, and well, now it is going to be that monetary reset onto Big for the final round of the half. 9-5. And of course, if Big do lose this map, they will be eliminated from the tournament. It won't be all doom and gloom because, of course, they have made it through to the finals in China. But I don't think they'd be happy with this one. They are going to look to try and turn the tide once again. It's pistols this round. Decent amount of utility. Going fairly aggressive over towards this A side of the map, and Zeus is there to meet it, taking over those long A halls. Also has support from Simple on the site itself. However, that early utility thrown may not actually have too much of a part in the round, as already we have seen the T side fall back a little bit further. They've baited out a little bit of utility, but you can see this TT side really haven't thrown too much, and they are going to double back to drop, maybe still going for this A site, but looking to try and split instead. And look at the read already for the CT side. So many players here. Tabson, however, will be able to start things off. Yet to see a big round from this man, but maybe this is going to be the one. 3 quick kills, nearly a 4th, and leaves Zeus low enough that Kiev will finish him off. Tabson explodes into the server. Whatever was wrong clearly has been fixed. And that's a 6th round for Big.
You love to see that from Tabson. I mean, it comes in a little bit late, admittedly. They only get 6 rounds, but God, what a way for them to secure that last. It was a round that they... I don't even know. He just rushes into the... That's the most Tabson thing you can really see, just sheer aggression from him. And I'm hoping that now picks up heading into their second half. We can see Big pull this back and us go through to a 3rd map. That's the dream. But it's still a little while to go to make that a reality if you are Big, because now you've got Team Ukraine on the T side to worry about. One that, of course, they are going to be naturally better on, just because when you look at the core components within this roster, it was always kind of the more favoured side. And on top of that, of course, the T side is the more favoured on Cobble.
Definitely not as much as it used to be, so it shouldn't be as worrying.
The map used to be terrible, Tom.
No, I'm just saying for like the old sort of Na'Vi fans, when it used to just have to be Guardian getting them maybe 4 rounds on the CT side, and then that was enough. Zeus was like, you've done your job, Guardian. Don't worry, I've got it from here. It's not quite as bad as that. So there is still a decent chance that Big could put up the numbers on the side. I'm not as worried as it would have been if they had continued from the sort of 6 round streak we saw early on that led the scoreline to 7-2. In fact, from there, Big actually did a fairly reasonable job. It's just those sort of rounds versus pistols that they really need to be coming up trumps against Ukraine, and it has been a sort of burden for them across the series. The other thing is we have also seen Bondik having a standout performance as well. As said, I always used to enjoy watching him on this map. He has stepped up. It was the T side I normally enjoyed watching him on more, so that may be a little bit of a worry for them. We've also seen Zeus, in-game leader for the team. He's 12-7 as well. And the worrying thing is they're winning 9-6, the same scoreline they had on the previous, and we haven't actually had to see too much from Simple yet. And now we go on to the T side, where this man can just reign supreme.
I'm just hoping that, you know, heading into the second half, we can see Tabson keep that good form up for Big. I think that's going to be essential if they want to keep this competitive. You know, we've seen a lights-out performance from Kiev. God Beer stepped up massively in comparison when we look back at Overpass and had a few good rounds from Legia. Next has kind of struggled to catch a break.
He has been a literal reincarnation of bad luck Brian. Just every time he walks anywhere, he's just shot through a smoke, killed by an AWP. It's just... Surely it can't get any worse for Next. That's what I've got to say. Like, next half...
I mean, don't say that. He'll be, like, eating a sandwich at halftime and get, like, swarmed to death by seagulls out in the arena or something.
I've seen all those seagulls flying around inside, you know. They've been everywhere. The burden of Barcelona, they call them.
That's the one. The burden of Barcelona.
God damn. Either way, it looks like we are having just a couple of technical issues at the moment. Hopefully those will be sorted soon enough. And I can hear some ticking. in the server. So I wonder if that is the countdown going in yet.
Yeah,
Team switch.
Just Harry in the case of the mysterious ticking noise. As we're trying to figure out.
The classic kids book.
Have you not seen that? Do you not follow the?
No, I
the
have.
joke? Okay, I was going to say.
Here we go. Into our pistol. Kip for Legia. Straight up Kevlar. Oh, bit of a voice crack for Ukraine. And I don't really expect anything else. They are just going to be going full aggro towards this CT side, looking to just overwhelm them straight towards that A site. Early and already Kiev is gone. Edward, he has found that opening. It's going to be a quick rotation coming out from the CT side to try and desperately get themselves this pistol. They have managed to get onto the site. Zeus is still going, but there are 2, 3 even quick trades from the CTs. Edward, however, is still going strong.
Edward, how are you doing this? It's under destruction. Now he's in with 4, Tom. How has he been allowed to get away with this, Edward? One off of the ace, and God B has come rotating round. There goes Edward. Now it's a 1v1. Simple. He's had a fairly easy time of it this round. Everything's been handed to him on a silver platter by Edward. Now he has to clutch this out 1v1 versus the brains behind the big operation. Gonna go back for the bomb. Time's ticked away, though, for a very long time here. Godby has to move in swiftly with so many angles to check. It is going to be tricky. Simple. Gonna get dropped. Godby's done it. Defuse going to come on in. And in spite of Edward's efforts, a 4K from him, and a phenomenal 4K at that. Big, they are going to win out the pistol round.
I wonder if they'll buy. I could just see them doing it. Edward has enough money that they could realistically get an AK into this round. Or they could save and maybe even get an AWP into the next, which would be a pretty impressive buy. But there we go. Straight in. AK dropped over. Simple's going to be the man to hold on to it. And the rest of the players are actually going to save. So it'll be a little bit of a hit for Edward in the next round. But he's just giving it over to say, okay, Simple, let's see what you can do.
Yeah, I mean, Simple is, I think, one of the men you'd want in this scenario. I think anyone on the team right now with how they're playing can pick this up quite happily, but Simple is the man we're so used to seeing make these big plays. Of course, just then it was Edward in the pistol. Yeah. Big, that AK doesn't come as a huge surprise. Team Ukraine start this rotation into middle. There is a man over at long in the form of Kiev. He's there with the UMP posted up, but he's very far forward. And he's in danger of being run aground if they start to funnel his way. Yeah. Ooh, that's a nice shot. Love to see that. That's Simple down. The AK has been removed. Going to be thrown over to Zeus, but he doesn't have armor. Something to bear in mind. On the back of that, Team Ukraine going to look indecisive, kind of playing around over here in mid. Not really getting too much done just yet. They send Markelov on his lonesome into B. Legia, the self-proclaimed Scout King, looking to try and make a name for himself. Edward, trapped in the corner here amid. His time on this earth is very limited. Scott B just holds the angle. Bondic might even want to think about saving this AK here. And a peek up through middle. That's actually got B taken out. Now it's a 3-on-4. Kiev still lies in wait over here at long. Next peeks wide. Bondic finds it. Now it's a 3 versus 3. Kiev is going to go ahead and shut this whole thing down from long. 9-8 is the score. But now the buy comes in for Team Ukraine.
Yeah, the worrying thing there, though, is that they actually lose another weapon at the end. Kiev drops a gun and doesn't pick anything up. So they ended up losing 3 weapons to what was a single AK, and there's still a buy coming in this round from Team Ukraine, and it's almost equal. It depends what Simple buys, of course. He's actually going to go for his trusty MP7, so maybe trying to bring that back into fashion. It sort of has fallen out. I think MBK is another one, or maybe Apex as well, who will pick it up every once in a while. But it's still fairly even in terms of the buy. Of course, if Big can win this one, that's where they can start to make themselves a little bit of extra money, as there won't be any cash for Ukraine to invest into the next. At the same time, Big haven't really had the chance to make up too much money of their own. If Ukraine can win this, they're right back in the driver's seat again.
Team Ukraine making their presence known out towards long. Legia holds close in mid, is in danger of going down. He's very far forward. Markelov has to check this though, and as his teammates push on in, Legia takes the first. Markelov is there to keep things all even. 4v4. Team Ukraine looks like they might keep pushing out through middle. The presence of Bondik over there towards drop down does mean they can afford to rotate back. Key falls. Got B's there to trade, and still 3-on-3, still all even across the board. Got B alive within the site, buying time for these rotations to come in.
Yeah, they should know that there's another man here because somebody did have to pop flash for Kyiv. Still one man left over towards the other side of the map for the CT side, and Gobby's going to have a lot of work to do already. Markelov takes his head clean off next, just doesn't have the range, and Simple is so close already. It will be 3 quick kills for Ukraine, and they now take themselves a 2-round advantage, and this is what I mean. The CT side, well, not only did they have the trouble of Kyiv having to rebuy because he accidentally dropped a gun, they do still lose a couple of players in the previous round to that AK-47, and that was the value of it. That's all it really needed to achieve. Okay, if it won them around, brilliant. But they knew that they would still be able to buy on the majority of their players in the next. And Ukraine made sure they did enough damage that it is turmoil to Big's economy for at least this round. They're going to complete eco. They will use the 1900 loss bonus to invest in the next round. However, this is Ukraine's chance to just make up that abundance of cash we've seen them do in the previous map. They've been very good at these anti-ecos. There's only going to be 2 players here for this CT side. Going to try and play some closer range positions. We can see the Molotovs already looking to just clear out a lot of these angles. Lots of damage, however, being done, so maybe there is a chance to at least catch off a player or 2. Nex will reduce it slightly, but it is still 4 players surviving for Ukraine. Money made, and now, well, the buy will be coming back in. Kyiv can have an AWP. In fact, they could have 2. They're actually just going to go for some pistols here. They're not going to invest, so they're going to take 2-round hits. See, this is what I sort of mean, though, when I say I would rather see them invest more into that first round if they're going to do this and sort of maybe calculate the economy a little bit more, because it means now that Ukraine had that round to build up a load of cash, and now they potentially have a second round where the reset potential is less because they've just made that extra money. So the bonus of it almost seems to be reduced.
I'll be stacking up outside of B, Tom. 4 players here for Big. They will be walking into a stack if they commit to this. Ed, we're going to be clearing out long. Got B in Nex. Gonna go running on in. Nex is there to go ahead and shut down Zeus. AK, I think, drops off on top of drop down. You hate to see that. He would love to go ahead and grab himself the AK. Legia has a scout in hand. He's been deadly with the scout. Team Ukraine, they don't want to waste time playing around on B anymore. They head towards the big boy site up here on A. That's, of course, where Kyiv resides. Nex is doing a fantastic job with this CZ. Going to be on this second frag. Still a 3-on-3, courtesy of Nex. Going to start to rotate over towards A. Kyiv, he's going to drop Simple. Luckily enough, Edward is able to go ahead and get that trade through the smoke, but Nex is already here. He's already inside the site, and there's only 30 seconds left. They're going to start to push on in. They have to check the close angle, and they don't. Edward gets caught. Markelov, a swift one-tap to pull things back, and now it's Legia, the self-proclaimed Scout King, to try and clutch this out. 1v1. It isn't self-proclaimed, it's the title I've given him.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm the self that is proclaiming. He's going to start to push on in. Actually holds initially to see if Markelov tries to peel away from this site. That's going to narrow down where he could be playing this from. Legia keeps creeping in, about to take the peek. Markelov has to be cautious, goes running in, caught up. Oh, Markelov's missed it though. Now Legia's got the M4, but Markelov does manage to clutch that out 1v1. And Team Ukraine will be in with their 12th round.
Yes, still, considering the investment from Big, that was a pretty damn good round, and they have set themselves up, at least in a better situation, to damage that Ukrainian economy. The money is going to be significantly reduced once the buy comes in. It's only going to be Markelov with a decent amount of cash. Of course, if they do get a bomb plant, it should be enough to secure them a buy anyway. And that's assuming that Big managed to break back and win themselves a round. It's 4-round lead now for Ukraine. We are going to see a decent buy come in, however. Goppy's still going to be on a UMP, and you do have to wonder if maybe he should have saved a little bit of extra cash when they invested into the last round. However, the hit's taken to make sure they have utility. Kiev will have the whole shebang. He's only missing a kit and head armor, I suppose, but that won't play too much of a part in this round, as we do have AKs on every single player of Ukraine at the moment. Utility being expended so that they can gather up some control towards this B site and clear some of the closer angles, although definitely not dedicated just yet. Still Edward on the other side of the map, and next is going to be hiding in that trusty Kreb. They have had problems also taking drop so far, so we'll see if this B hit actually pays off.
Oh, leg, yeah. He's able to find Edward elsewhere now. Next. Going to shut down one. Zeus is here. Doesn't have support from Bondic. Is in danger of going down to God B as teammates start to come on in to try and help him out. Bondic could make such a big difference, but Kiev, okay, shuts down the man in the smoke. Now it is just Zeus 1v4, 22 seconds left. Doesn't really need to start to peek into this. I think wanted to make sure no one was going to go aggressive down through long. But yeah, 10 seconds, forced into a save. And that's big in with the 9th round, Tom. I want to try and make this comeback a reality.
Yeah, and this is where the impact of the damage done in the previous round, 4 players dropped, will come apparent. That save from Zeus is actually pretty integral to them being able to buy in this one. I'd be interested to see if Markolov actually does drop an AWP. No, it looks like he's just going to drop over an AK instead, and it will mean that they have a more evenly spread buy than just relying on Simple, who, again, he's yet to really show up in this game. It's not necessarily been too much of a problem, as Bondic has done the work for him, and we've seen some decent rounds across the board from Zeus and Edward as well, but it means there's only going to be one AWP, and it is in the hands of Kiev. We're seeing quite a bit of aggression actually come out from the CT side over towards that long spot. Got B on the edge of the smoke. Really interesting position, and he hasn't spotted anybody else. This could give a huge amount of info. Simple is going to turn away just as his opponent pushes through, and already Kiev with that AWP is going to start things off. Now Godby could be perfectly positioned to catch off any rotation. Zeus seems to have an inkling that there might be a player here, but Godby, he's not going to go over aggressive in this situation. He's slowly making his way forward. He's slowly just holding on to this map control, and if there is any rotation, well, he'll know about it.
Yeah, it's so strong, this position from Godby. Flashes and smoke trading towards the B-bomb site. Now Godby going to start to try and pounce on in from behind. They have been able to find the entries, but next keeps them at bay. Kiev in with another, and now Edward goes down to Godby, and Big, they're in with the 10th round, Tom. They want to try and take this to all 3 maps. They're now 2 behind that of Team Ukraine. The pause going to be called on in. That's a Team Ukraine tactical, if you ever did see it. I've had real trouble with these, Tom. I've had real trouble with these.
Maybe you should just pose me the question. Just from now on, just be like, so Tom, what sort of pause do you think this is?
If I'm asking you that, I just have no future in anything, do I? Yeah, there you go. Tactical pause called in. I feel like, you know, the one downside of this whole event running so smoothly thus far is it feels like we haven't enough time in the pauses to actually break stuff down. You know, a nice technical pause every now and again is good to give you time to discuss.
Who sits there wishing for technical pauses? You're one odd cookie, I'll give you that. I quite like things to run nice and smooth, hence the baldness. Of course, intentional and not part of my genes at all, not blaming anyone. Thanks, Dad. Either way, Simple is going to be there with that AK-47. The rest of the team are going to be sat with just pistols for this round. A decent chance for Big to make themselves some extra money. They will need to do so. They have struggled in really stringing rounds together so far. It's more been an economy battle for Big, and Team Ukraine looks strong in a lot of these pistol rounds. Bondic will take a little bit of damage from the smoke. Has to be careful of the nade because, of course, he doesn't have any armor. And, in fact, it will be Zeus to go down first. The second already coming in. Simple's Catalyst Rifle is going to achieve absolutely nothing. And the CT side now already have complete control of the bomb.
Yeah, there's no way for Big to throw this one away, you'd hope. That said...
I like how you don't even have the confidence there. It's like, yeah, you hope.
No, just anything can happen. Oh, there you go. That could be the thing that starts it, Edward. Get rid of one. Now they just go ahead and hunker down on that bomb. So, yeah, with only 30 seconds left, Bondic relegated down to the grave. It will be the save coming in from Edward. And the issue is they still actually can't afford to buy into the next round. So Big, they should be able to find themselves an equalizer here. The Catalyst Rifle will be carried forward. Actually, I want to see... I mean, you could have Markov, Edward, or Bondic sport that. They can get some armor up behind it. And be just fine.
Yeah, you'd probably want to go for probably Bondic because Edward won't have the money to actually... He doesn't get the loss bonus. So everybody else will have a little bit more cash than him. Or Markov. It depends if they want to drop an AWP for Simple, which hasn't been a big part of their T side so far. Actually, Edward's just going to buy it himself, and they're going to go for a buy here.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was about to say. Yeah, you would have got enough money on those other 4 rifles. And
I'm not sure I'm a fan, though, because this is the last few rounds now where they've invested quite a bit of money, and Big have managed to keep that one so clean that it's not really that much of a chance of a reset. So it's quite a big risk for a chance for Big to actually take the lead in this game. So we'll see. Maybe Ukraine can pull off another one of these crazy rounds because, as said, they've been very good at doing it so far. However, since going onto the CT side, Big have looked like a much stronger unit.
Bondic's been afforded control the drop down. Got B going to be holding down the angle. Ooh. Nearly finds damage, but Bondic will escape with his life. Just a small tickling at 27 HP. Now Team Ukraine, they have a man over here in drop. They might just leave him defend for himself. As I said, the players from MiG going to start to peel on off, rotate in to rejoin the rest of the gang over here at this B-bomb site. It looks like the hit will actually eventually come down away. Legia going to peek into this. Trade goes through. Markov, it was so important there. He got the trade onto Legia, and instead Next actually able to find that frag. Now Kiev's jump spotting mid. They're going to go rushing up into him. Legia already begins rotating around, and right now Kiev just has to buy time. He's alone inside of the site. This player's swarming over a SWAT van, and Zeus finds the shot. Legia's in, but Zeus with the CZ. He might have just made this round very, very possible for Team Ukraine. Simple, get a machine pistol down Next, and Tabson is left 1 versus 3. Simple shuts him down, and just like that, Team Ukraine, they're back into this 13-11. The buy still can come in for Big, though.
That was ridiculous from Zeus. Like, the first shot was sick to just take down Kiev. The second one to just spin back around, no reload in sight, and just get the second. Again, it's another one of these sort of force fire rounds that Big just can't shut down the faster plays. They got the advantage early on, and then the A-site defense just got overwhelmed by, what, a CZ and an MP7. That should not be happening for the German side. It's supposed to be a stronger team in this situation, but Team Ukraine may just have their number. 3 rounds needed for them to take this in a 2-0 fashion. Head their way through to the quarterfinals, of course. This is the second and third in the group battling off against each other, with the first place going straight through. There we go, though. Drop control. Zeus has actually opted to stay with the CZ. I think he might have actually even had some extra money, so this may just be a choice of feeling better with the pistol. Bondic will be able to start things off. Godby around the corner should be available for the trade. Molotov may even be enough, as Bondic is so low on HP, but he is just about avoiding the flames. Nice flash coming out from Legia, and Godby does eventually dunk down Bondic, giving the man advantage back over, and still Two players wait over towards this A side of the map. It is going to be down to Zeus to try and make the play. Tabson has been spotted, but he won't be able to hit the shots, at least for now. A couple of low players, but still the advantage sits with the CT side.
Yeah, Tabson going to be peeking out from platform. Spots the bomb there. That's enough to cause the rotations to come in, but he does actually fall down. God B now is to step up massively. Simple. Well, fall at the first hurdle. Only 15 seconds left. Zeus and Markelov both tagged within inches of death here. God B still doing a great job of keeping them pinned in. Markelov misses that shot. God B overstaying his welcome. Is finally going to go down, but Keeve's there to pick that up. 3 seconds left. Zeus, he wants to save. It's a little bit risky. He does manage to hold on to the M4. Now it's kind of an awkward situation. You can definitely make a case for Ukraine force buying here, and they're gonna do it.
The thing that worries me is I feel like eventually one of these force buy rounds has to fail. And that will be the reset that gives Big the lead. The problem is they're just so good at doing them. They seem to be a back against the wall sort of team. Simple just going to go running straight into drop, trying to catch off Godby off guard, but the flashbang actually blinds him instead. It's going to be a fast B play. Tabson waiting up close in the corner. Damage being done by utility. So much damage being done. And already we've lost a second player. The flank in from Legia. He will lose his life to Zeus. And we've have seen this before, where a two-man advantage quickly swings. And while quickly is the thought of the day for Ukraine, is already running straight towards this A site will be Zeus. We saw him isolate Keeve before, but Keeve has spotted him with the AWP. It comes a little bit close, but Godby now on hand to support his AWPer.
Yeah, Keeve has to buy time, and he has already allowed for these rotations to come in. Bondik holds close, going to go pushing on through, catches these players unaware. Down goes the first. Tabson has to try and trade, and actually he's allowed to slip away. Luckily enough, Godby does emerge from the cubby. Finishes this off, and Big, they go 13-13. This draws ever closer. That force buy did fail Team Ukraine. And now Big should be able to reach the 14th round with no problems here. And I'm not going to lie, I thought that play there from Bondik would have been enough. He pushes on through and catches them completely off guard. That was very nice from him.
Yeah, needed to get himself the second, and luckily Godby was on point. He's 21-16. He is leading for Big at the moment. A complete turnaround of what we saw in the other map. The in-game leader having more than enough impact. I feel like Zeus will be up the top of the team as well for his side of things, and this man Simple has not quite had the same performance we saw. I think he was the difference maker on the previous map. Getting close to that 30 kill marker. Bondik currently completely still. Wonder if they're having a little bit of a talk at the moment. Because I did say, I felt like eventually one of those force buys had to fail. And that would be the undoing of Ukraine. They will be getting a buy in the next round, but it's looking like we will see 6 of 7 rounds go the way of Big. And they definitely are back in the driver's seat. I do wonder if Ukraine actually are having sort of one of those rounds where they just sort of brainstorm ideas. Got a couple of sort of AFK players. It was something that was more sort of common when the tactical pause wasn't such a big thing in Counter-Strike. It does definitely look like they are brainstorming. I like this. I like the idea of just taking yourselves around 1 minute 55 to just sort of think things through. Probably just go barreling into one of the sites right at the end. Obviously not wanting to save what they have. Okay, Tabson. Just remove clinically Markelov's head. But here we go. Rest of the team is going to gather up, run towards this B site. They've had their talk. They've had their time. Now they're going to try and do a little bit of extra damage. Already, they're just being shut down one by one by one. Edward, of course, will want to die in this scenario, so every single player is just going to run in quickly. And Edward, you got to die, buddy. Oh, if he actually survives this could...
All Edward had to do was die. And for a man of his honor, that is no easy feat, Tom. Me, on the other hand, I'm virtually begging for it every day. So
That's towing me so hard. Like, literally, all he had to do in that situation was die, and he failed, and that's going to completely just ruin his buy for this round. He's only going to have a deagle. It's not the worst weapon in the world, for sure. One of the most popular, but definitely not what they were going for.
Right now, Big, they've been able to turn this around. They've taken the lead. The buy comes in from Team Ukraine, though. This is their last-ditch attempt to try and avoid overtime and keep themselves in this. Kiev is the man with the AWP for Big, holding long. It's actually tabs to find aggression here. Down through B long, does have Next nearby to try and help out, and that could be such a massive difference to them. He's going to go ahead and fall back. Didn't spot anything on his initial voyage. Markov flashes over. Does have Zeus there to try and help out. Bondik has secured control of drop down. Leggy's pushed up all the way over here in mid, and there are players coming his way. He's going to run the risk of going down here to this aggression. Bondik starts to peek out into B, and what he sees is that, oh, they're just going to let him slip on by. Got B goes down, now Bondik pivots back. Next gonna fall as well. That play is massive from Bondik. Tabson and Kiev, they're left 2v5. Tabson holds close on the platform. He looks to try and haul this back, but falls through the smoke. And Kiev, we saw him 1v4 earlier, but this might be asking a little bit too much from him. When you look at the money for Big, they can sustain a buy in the next round. They can get the AWP as well, even if he does try and go for this, but I imagine he's just going to look to try and save. Edward is here. Oh, misses the easy shots as Kiev, but lands the hard ones. That's the way of the game.
He wants style points.
For Team Ukraine, that's a lifeline. 14-14. They want to try and close this out here and now. Tom, we're going to be going the full 30 maps at a bare minimum.
30 maps?
30 maps, 30 rounds. Very long series. We expanded the map pool.
I'm looking forward to Log and Black Gold coming back, you know.
I think we all are, Tom. I think we all are.
But yeah, again, we're looking at big plays coming out from Bondik. That's obviously the last one didn't quite go the way he planned with the sort of two-man sneaky beaky kill, but that's exactly what he's been doing. He's just been getting himself into great positions on this T side. 25-17, he's still leading the way, and now it is crunch time for both teams. Ukraine, okay, they had 4 players surviving in the last round. There will be a bit of a bonus, but Edward still had to get himself a weapon. Simple. He's on his AWP. Next has had to take the hit, and so has GodB. Although GodB has been excellent with the UMP so far, so I don't even think that's that much of a detriment for him. But as said, this could be the difference between a 2-0 and going on to that third map. Drop-down control being contested by the T side. And they do have Edward patiently waiting just in case there's any further aggression. We've already seen it quite a bit from Big. GodB is going to spot Bondik, looking to try and make that open up from drop, trying to have that impact once again. The nade out from Tabson could do a decent amount of damage and will take Simple down at least a little bit. And the Molotov may be there to follow. However, Bondik is just going to take the safe route, fall back, and wait.
Big falls prey to Simple. Now Nex is under pressure up on platform to try and perform. Luckily, Legia going to relieve some of that pressure as he equalizes things out over in mid, 4-on-4. Team Ukraine boost the bomb back up. They're going to go ahead and send Zeus round to keep an eye on the flank, make sure Legia doesn't get too big for his boots. Bondik still making noise over here and drop down. Next up on the platform, the MP9 able to go ahead and take the first. Simple with the AWP, not ideal, especially as he gets flashed back. And now Nex keeps holding the angle. Simple lands it. Suddenly man advised back in favor of Team Ukraine. Keeves tag low. Bondik will fall, but now it all falls on a Kiev. 1 versus 2. Simple and Zeus left for Team Ukraine to try and close this round out. Kiev sneaking through the smoke. Gonna go ahead and clear out drop down. Knows now that this area of the map is clear. Starts to sneak on in. Zeus holds the angle close, and Team Ukraine, they're going to go ahead and arrive at map and series point. The pause called in. It's a tech pause. I can't say it in a minute, Tom.
How
don't know
do you
what's
do it
gone
every
wrong.
time? I actually don't understand how you manage to make that
Technical.
up every
There you
time.
go. I can say 1,000 words a minute, and I can't say the word technical.
You cannot say 1,000 words a minute.
I'll challenge you to that another day. Tom, it all comes down to this for Big. Their shot to carry this through to overtime, and then a potential chance to take this through to map number 3. For Team Ukraine, this could be them winning it out here and now. There is money for Team Ukraine to buy, but not the same case for Big, as they are strapped for cash, Tom. It's going to be a force buy, buying down what they can in the last of the half. You've got to feel bad for them here. They did such a good job to pull it back to this scoreline. They were looking fantastic. They actually had the lead for a while as well. But then the resurgence comes in from Team Ukraine, and we end up at this point now.
Yeah, tough spot to get out of. They have looked much stronger over on this CT side, managing to already... Well, they've won the CT side. They've got themselves 8 rounds, but they've got to get that 9th. It is going to be the CZ army of Big. Every single player purchasing 1 up, and they will invest into a huge amount of utility as well. This is it for Ukraine. The chance to take themselves through to the quarterfinals. Of course, both teams have already qualified for the grand finals, but seeding and also the prize pool is what they fight for here. Lagia up close. Multiple players around this angle. The pop flash is absolutely perfectly stuck in the corner. Almost takes down Edward, but almost doesn't win anything. And Simple is already going to pick up the second. It is this push towards the A site, although the T's, they slow back down. They're not going to overface. They're giving Bondik a chance to catch off any rotations. God B not seeing anything, and now they may start to be a little bit hesitant, although the nade thrown out at least gives him an inkling that there are still some players here.
Yeah, you can see Team Ukraine a little bit dubious about continuing up and towards the A-bomb site. They're going to start now to rotate back toward B. Nex is here. He's going to be able to hear these rotations come through as he resides in drop. It is pivotal that he finds his first frag onto Bondik. That could be the real difference maker. Going to buy that much more time for the rotations to come in. Especially from Godby, who's very pushed up over there towards the long angle, hiding in the cubby. And that's it. Smokes and flashes raining towards the B-bomb site. Just as that happened, Nex actually rotates on off, and they're going to group up, look to go in together. Nex on the entry with the CZ. Dispatched by Bondik. Just Godby and Tabson left alive. Simple gets rid of Tabson, and then gonna dig down Godby as well to finish this off in style. They take it the full 30 rounds, but it will be Team Ukraine to win the series out 2-0.
Yeah, no, a very strong performance from them in the end. A nice resurgence from Big, and I think a great performance from Bondik, it has to be said. I think he was excellent on cobblestone, made some hugely impactful plays. He was someone I sort of highlighted at the beginning who used to be very good at this map, and clearly that has not changed. Team Ukraine, they will take themselves through to the quarterfinals, knocking out from at least this LAN event, not of course the whole tournament. But yeah, it is going to be our first elimination match of today. We have 1 more to go. It will be Team Russia versus Fnatic. 2 teams that may not necessarily have been thought to be in this elimination match, especially when you consider Fnatic actually finished 3rd in their group, hence why they are facing off against Team Russia. And I just want to say, I don't think you guys are going to want to miss that one. It is going to be one hell of a game. And